Why do you think Florida is so far behind? I mean, how many states? There's 7 states, is that right? Right now that are legal for recreational?
Correct.
So why, I mean, when do you think this will happen with Florida? Why is Florida so far behind?
Florida really has had a couple of different challenges. The first challenge being the governor,
Right.
Governor Rick Scott, at the initial understanding that there's another gentleman named Mel Sembler. Mel Sembler's a billionaire. He lives right here in Pinellas County.
Really?
He is actually the one that supported Rick for both his first run as governor and the second run.
Okay, yeah, I know who he is now.
Yeah.
Real estate guy.
Bingo.
Yeah.
He's also a big Narcan guy. He used to own and have a business back in the 80s called Straight. It was a drug intervention program. He has now another one. I don't want to promote his website, but it's a like drugfreeamerica.com. And
So he's really against it.
So he's big time against it.
And he was a big supporter of Rick Scott.
Absolutely. And also a big supporter of Narcan and some of the other drugs that are for
Really?
Narcan is obviously, you guys know that if you take an overdose of heroin,
Right, they shoot you with it, bring you back
bring
to
you
life.
back to life.
Right.
So obviously it behooves him to have cannabis not legal so that people will continue this madness with the fentanyl and all the other drugs out here that are killing people left and right. It got so ridiculous.
Jesus Christ.
It's ridiculous, man. If you look at Manatee County here in Florida, last year, I think it is, and I may be off on my year, but they were typically having about 1 to 4 overdoses a month. It went to 1 to 4 overdoses a day, and they had to open up a second morgue.
Where is this?
This was in Manatee County, just south of where we're located at here.
And what was the overdoses? What were they overdosing on?
Most of it was fentanyl.
Okay.
The heroin would be so pure. They would actually do it in with their kids in the back in the gas station, and then somebody would take a picture of them all passed out in the truck, hanging out all over the place. So it behooved him, and when I say him, Mel Sembler, to not have cannabis legal in the state of Florida. So what happened then, I'm sure this is the business deal between those guys kind of went like, hey, if you do this for me, I'll do this for you and make sure you get, you have all the money you need to get voted in to be the next senator. And so he put a gentleman in place by the name of Christian Bach, who ran the Department of Health. The Department of Health, which is kind of odd, are the group that actually handle the cannabis here in Florida when it should be the Department of Agriculture. But he did that again to set it up purposely so that they would run interference on the legalization of it. So that what they did was they put different processes in place to slow it down. In other words, you couldn't smoke flower. It had to be into an oil type,
right?
Like a vaping pen of some sort.
Right.
They made sure that there was no edibles. You had to process it. You had to do what's called vertical integration. You had to do everything right there at the grow. From grow it to process it, you had to provide your own security, your own transportation. And at the end of the day, these nurseries that were selected because of their ability to produce a quality plant, not to do security work, not to do processing. So this slowed everything down because now the nursery's got to learn how to process. Mm-hmm. They have to understand transportation. Mm-hmm. They need to understand there's an expense involved with that. So as the program went along, it just kind of got slower and slower because guys didn't know how to process. Now they got to know to do that. Now, with Governor DeSantis in place, who understands the will of the people here in Florida. Again, let's not forget 72% of the people here in Florida voted for medical cannabis. That the will of the people was to be able to smoke flower. So they'll now be able to have up to 2 ounces of cannabis in their possession. This is still have to be finalized and through the Senate. Mm-hmm. But they'll be able to have 2 ounces of cannabis in their possession. And listen, don't travel with it in your car. Let's not smoke it in the car. You will get caught, and it's a bad day. Right now, law enforcement's kind of taking a different look at this. Yeah. Again, we have to understand this is about generating revenue. The sheriff's departments are a business. They have to be run like a business. Right. The majority of law enforcement officials, from the chiefs to the actual sheriffs that I've spoken to, all believe that it should be recreational available. The problem is that it generates money for them. And the way it was put to me was that, hey, Mike, most marijuana smokers are easy targets. I get reimbursed from the federal government for everybody I arrest. So really what you're asking me to do is give up part of my budget, which have, by the way, here in Florida, taken a beating since 2008. So now you're just asking me to give up more of that money. It's a victimless crime. People don't smoke pot and attack my deputies. You can talk to our narcotics guys. I'll talk to all the guys across the board. They all realize where we're going with this and what should happen. I tell you, if you put somebody in prison who has smoked cannabis, they don't come out a better person at the end of the day.